The autumn leaves crunch beneath her feet as Ashley Baker steps out of her silver Honda Accord. It's 7:18 p.m. on October 11, 2009, and the Cedar Bluff nature trail overlook stretches before her like a photographer's dream. The overcast Iowa sky threatens rain, but Ashley doesn't mind. Storm clouds make for dramatic sunset shots. She adjusts her green Iowa Hawkeyes hoodie against the crisp evening air and reaches for her Canon camera. At 24, Ashley has that infectious energy that draws people in. Her white Nikes navigate the gravel path with familiar confidence. She's been here dozens of times before, capturing the changing seasons through her lens. The gas station surveillance footage from 20 minutes earlier shows her smiling at the cashier, buying gum and a bottled water. Everything is normal. Everything is routine. She'd even called her sister Emma from the car. "I'll be home in 20 minutes. Just getting some sunset shots." But Ashley Baker will never make it home. Her Honda sits abandoned at the overlook, keys still in the ignition, purse untouched on the passenger seat. One door hangs slightly ajar, as if she'd stepped out expecting to return in moments. Her camera lies near the trailhead, the final photo time-stamped at 7:25 p.m. A stunning landscape shot with something else, something that would remain unnoticed for over a decade. A shadow in the background, a figure watching from the trees. That night, as autumn rain begins to fall on Cedar Bluff, a quiet Iowa community starts its descent into a 15-year nightmare. Before we dive deeper into this haunting case that gripped an entire town, take a moment to subscribe to our channel. Your support helps us bring attention to cold cases, like Ashley's, stories that deserve to be heard, remembered, and most importantly, solved. Hit that bell icon, because every notification could lead to the breakthrough a family desperately needs. Ashley Marie Baker wasn't just another missing person statistic. She was Cedar Bluff's unofficial photographer, the young woman who volunteered at every charity event, who ran photo booths at church fundraisers, and who never walked past someone without offering a genuine smile. Growing up in a single-parent home with her mother, Carla, had taught Ashley resilience. She was sunshine with sneakers. Her older sister Emma would later tell reporters, Ashley could find beauty in anything: a cracked sidewalk, an old barn, storm clouds gathering over cornfields. After graduating from the University of Iowa with a degree in biology, Ashley had returned home to work as a pharmacy technician at Cedar Grove Pharmacy. But her real passion lived in that Canon camera she carried everywhere. Weekends meant hiking trips to capture Iowa's hidden beauty. Her Instagram feed, though modest by today's standards, showcased an artist's eye for finding extraordinary moments in ordinary places. Ashley lived alone in a rented duplex on Maple Street, just 6 blocks from the pharmacy where she'd worked for 2 years. Her neighbors knew her routine: morning jogs before work, evening walks with her camera, and Sunday brunches with her mother. She carried a pink leather journal everywhere, jotting down photo ideas and capturing thoughts that struck her throughout the day. October 11, 2009, started like any other Sunday. Ashley had brunch with Carla at their favorite cafe, discussing plans for Thanksgiving photos. She spent the afternoon running errands, grocery shopping, picking up prints from the photo lab, and visiting her friend Rachel to show off a new camera lens she'd saved months to buy. She was so excited about testing that lens, Rachel later told police. She said the sunset at Cedar Bluff would be perfect for it. Ashley always chased the perfect light. Around 6:55 p.m., Ashley texted her mother. Going to the overlook for sunset shots, it would be her final message to anyone. At 7:12 p.m., she called Emma from her car, engine running in the gas station parking lot. Her voice sounded normal, happy even. They talked about Emma's new job and Ashley's photography plans. Nothing urgent or concerning, just two sisters catching up on a Sunday evening. "Call me when you get home," Emma had said. "I want to see those sunset photos." "Will do," Ashley replied. "Love you." Those would be the last words her family ever heard her speak. In a town of 3,200 people, Ashley Baker's disappearance felt personal to everyone. She'd photographed their weddings, their graduations, and their children's birthday parties. The thought of someone harming their beloved photographer sent shockwaves through every coffee shop conversation and church pew prayer. The timeline of that evening plays like a countdown to horror. 7:18 p.m. Security cameras at Murphy's gas station capture Ashley purchasing gum and water. She appears relaxed, chatting briefly with the cashier about the weather. 7:25 p.m. The timestamp on her final photograph. A breathtaking shot of the Cedar Bluff overlook as golden light breaks through storm clouds. In the background, barely visible, a dark shape among the trees that no one notices at the time. 8:05 p.m. Ashley's phone goes to voicemail when Emma tries calling. No response to text messages. 8:45 p.m. Carla calls Ashley repeatedly, straight to voicemail every time. 9:30 p.m. Emma drives to Cedar Bluff Nature Trail, following Ashley's usual photography route. Her heart pounds as she spots the familiar silver Honda in the overlook parking area. The car sits alone under the parking area's single streetlight, keys in the ignition, purse on the passenger seat, with wallet, phone and identification cards untouched. The driver's door stands slightly open, the interior light casting an eerie glow in the gathering darkness. Emma calls Ashley's name into the wind. Only silence answers back. By 10:15 p.m., Carla contacts the Cedar Bluff Police Department. Officer Jake Morrison arrives at 10:40 p.m., his flashlight beam sweeping across Ashley's abandoned Honda. He finds no signs of struggle, no blood, and no evidence of foul play. In rural Iowa, young women sometimes meet friends at scenic spots, sometimes have car trouble, and sometimes lose track of time. Let's give it until morning, Officer Morrison suggests. She probably got a ride with someone, but Carla Baker knows her daughter. Ashley never leaves her car unlocked, never abandons her purse, never misses Sunday dinner without calling. By dawn on October 12th, missing person flyers blanket Cedar Bluff. Ashley's smiling photograph stares back from every telephone pole, every storefront window, and every church bulletin board. The image shows her green eyes sparkling with laughter, honey blonde hair catching sunlight, and the kind of smile that made strangers feel like old friends. Within hours, volunteers mobilize. Friends from high school, customers from the pharmacy, and members of the hiking club Ashley had joined just months earlier. They form search lines across Cedar Bluff Trail, calling her name until their voices grow hoarse. The search expands rapidly. Mounted patrol units, search and rescue dogs, and even a helicopter donated by a local businessman. The Cedar Bluff Trail gets sealed off as crime scene tape flutters in the autumn wind, like yellow warnings. Then searchers make the first crucial discovery. Ashley's Canon camera lies partially hidden under fallen leaves near the trailhead, about 50 yards from her car. The camera appears undamaged, memory card still intact. When police review the photos, they find 37 images from that day, landscapes, close-ups of autumn leaves, and artistic shots of the overlook's wooden railing. The final photograph stops everyone cold. Taken at 7:25 p.m., it shows the classic Cedar Bluff sunset Ashley came to capture. But enhanced examination reveals something else. A dark figure among the trees in the background, too distant to identify, too blurry to enhance with 209 technology. Someone was watching Ashley that night. Near a utility access road leading from the overlook, investigators find fresh tire tracks in the soft earth. The tread pattern doesn't match Ashley's Honda or any of the search vehicles. Someone else was there. Someone who left in a hurry. Local news stations pick up the story within 48 hours. Ashley's photograph appears on morning shows across Iowa, then regional networks. A tip line gets established, generating hundreds of calls from across the Midwest. Social media campaigns emerge with hashtags like Find Ashley and Bring Ashley Home. But Carla Baker's maternal instincts prove devastatingly accurate. As she tells reporters through tears, "I knew in my gut, the second her phone went to voicemail, that something terrible had happened to my baby." The community rallies around the Baker family with the kind of support that defines small-town America. Vigils at the library where Ashley once volunteered, fundraisers for search expenses, prayer circles that meet every evening at sunset, the time Ashley vanished. Yet despite hundreds of volunteers, thousands of flyers, and countless hours of investigation, Ashley Baker seems to have simply vanished into the Iowa autumn night. By winter 2011, the active search for Ashley Baker had wound down to occasional weekend volunteers and monthly family vigils. Police continue following leads, but the trail has grown as cold as Iowa's January winds. In March 2012, Ashley's case officially transfers to cold case status. Her file joins dozens of others in a metal cabinet at the Cedar Bluff Police Department, waiting for new evidence, new technology, or new hope. For the Baker family, time stops on October 11th. Carla quits her job at the bank to focus on finding Ashley. She converts Ashley's bedroom into a command center, walls covered with maps, timelines, photographs, and contact information for private investigators, psychics, and anyone claiming to have information. Every morning she writes letters to Ashley in a spiral notebook, filling page after page with updates about family news, community events, and promises to never stop searching. Dear Ashley, one entry reads, "Emma got promoted at work today. She's doing so well, but I know she misses sharing good news with you. We all do. Today marks 47 days since you disappeared. I'm counting until you come home." Emma channels her grief differently. In 2013, she starts a blog called Searching for Sunshine, named after her childhood nickname for Ashley. The blog documents their ongoing search efforts, shares memories of Ashley, and connects with other families of missing persons across the country. The blog gains unexpected traction. Within a year, Searching for Sunshine has thousands of regular readers and catches the attention of national missing persons organizations. Emma's raw, honest writing about living with uncertainty resonates with people far beyond Iowa. People ask how we keep going, Emma writes in one popular post. They want to know how we function without answers. The truth is, we don't function. We just exist, suspended between hope and heartbreak, waiting for a phone call that might never come. Cedar Bluff adapts to Ashley's absence in the way small communities do. Slowly, reluctantly, but inevitably, new families move to town, new businesses open, young people graduate and leave for college. Life moves forward while the Bakers remain frozen in time. But reminders of Ashley persist everywhere. The mural painted on the library's east wall in 2012 shows Ashley with her camera, surrounded by Iowa wildflowers. The annual Hike for Ashley event, started in 2014, draws hundreds of participants who walk the Cedar Bluff Trail every October. Local photographers leave sunflowers at the overlook where she vanished. False leads torture the family regularly. In 2013, an anonymous tip from Missouri prompts a massive excavation effort near the Iowa border. Dozens of volunteers dig for 3 days before admitting defeat. The tip proves to be from someone seeking attention. 2 years later, a man in Texas confesses to Ashley's murder while drunk in a bar. Police investigations quickly reveal he was in prison during October 2009, making his confession impossible. Another cruel dead end. Technology advances around them. DNA genealogy becomes common by 2018. Cold case units across the country solve decades-old mysteries using new techniques. Emma pushes Cedar Bluff police to re-examine Ashley's evidence with updated methods. "We have a partial DNA sample from her car," Detective Sarah Williams explains in 2019. "But it's not enough for a match using current databases. We need more." The questions haunt Cedar Bluff like ghosts. Why was Ashley's car completely untouched? Who was the shadowy figure in her final photograph? Why did her cell phone go dark without leaving any GPS trace? As 2020 arrives, Ashley Baker has been missing for over 10 years. Carla has filled 17 notebooks with letters to her daughter. Emma's blog has connected the family with hundreds of other families living the same nightmare. The overlook where Ashley vanished has become an unofficial memorial site. But in rural Iowa, autumn still comes every year. The leaves still turn golden. Storm clouds still gather over cornfields. And somewhere in Cedar Bluff, a predator who thought he'd gotten away with murder continues living his life in plain sight. March 15, 2022. Detective Williams receives a call that changes everything. The Iowa Cold Case Task Force has selected Ashley Baker's case for their new Advanced Forensics Initiative. 15 federal agents, equipped with the latest DNA genealogy technology and digital enhancement software, are ready to take a fresh look at evidence that's been sitting in storage for over a decade. "We're not making promises," Task Force leader Agent Rebecca Chen tells the Baker family during their first meeting. "But technology has advanced significantly since 2009. Sometimes a cold case just needs the right tools." The team begins with Ashley's final photograph. Using AI enhancement software unavailable in 2009, they can now examine that mysterious shadow in unprecedented detail. After hours of processing, the image reveals a clearer outline, definitely a male figure wearing what appears to be a flannel jacket, standing approximately 6 feet tall. More promising is the partial DNA sample collected from Ashley's car door handle. In 2009, the sample was too degraded for traditional database matching, but genealogical DNA testing can work with much smaller samples, tracing family trees through distant relatives who've submitted their DNA to ancestry websites. The process takes months. Genealogists build family trees backward through generations, looking for connections that might lead to their unknown subject. By December 2022, they've narrowed possibilities to 3 family lines in eastern Iowa. On February 14, 2023, Agent Chen makes the call. Carla Baker has waited nearly 14 years to receive. "We have a name," she says. Michael James Trent, age 47, lives in Cedar Bluff. He's a match for the DNA on Ashley's car. Carla drops the phone. After 73 days of uncertainty, they finally have answers within reach. Michael Trent works as a maintenance supervisor for the County Parks Department. He's lived in Cedar Bluff his entire life, just 10 minutes from Ashley's former duplex. In 2009, he was 33 years old, divorced, and living alone in a modest house on the outskirts of town. His employment records show he worked at Cedar Bluff Nature Trail from 2007 to 2011, responsible for maintaining hiking paths, cleaning restrooms, and emptying trash cans. He would have known every trail, every access road, and every hidden spot in the area. More disturbing, Trent has a sealed juvenile record, and 2 adult complaints filed against him in 2007 and 2008. Both involve women who reported being followed after hiking alone at Cedar Bluff Trail. Neither case resulted in charges. Emma reads the police reports with growing horror. This man was there all along. He was working at the trail where Ashley disappeared. He was probably there the day she vanished. Police begin round-the-clock surveillance on March 1, 2023. Trent maintains a quiet routine: work, grocery shopping, and occasional visits to a local bar. He lives alone, keeps to himself, and draws no attention from neighbors. But a search warrant for his property reveals chilling evidence. Hidden in a storage shed behind his house, investigators find a flannel jacket that matches the enhanced photograph. DNA testing confirms microscopic traces of Ashley's hair on the fabric. More damning is a journal discovered in Trent's bedroom. Among mundane entries about work and weather, police find this entry dated October 12, 2009. The girl with the camera won't be taking any more pictures. After 13 years, 8 months, and 6 days, Ashley Baker's killer has a name. Michael James Trent seems like the kind of man who disappears into backgrounds. Average height, thinning brown hair, unremarkable features that neighbors struggle to remember clearly. He's worked the same county job for 15 years, paying taxes, following traffic laws, and blending into Cedar Bluff's landscape like camouflage. But as investigators dig deeper into his life, a disturbing pattern emerges. Born and raised in Cedar Bluff, Trent graduated from Cedar Bluff High School in 1993, with mediocre grades and no close friends. Co-workers describe him as odd but harmless, someone who ate lunch alone and rarely joined after-work gatherings. His ex-wife, divorced in 2006, tells investigators about his obsession with photographing strangers without permission. He'd drive around with a camera, taking pictures of women at parks, shopping centers, anywhere really. When I asked him about it, he'd get angry and defensive, said it was just a hobby. The most chilling discovery comes from Trent's work schedule. On October 11, 2009, he was supposed to work a maintenance shift at Cedar Bluff Trail until 6:00 p.m., but his time card shows he clocked out at 5:15 p.m., nearly an hour early. He would have been finishing his shift right when Ashley arrived. Detective Williams realizes he probably saw her drive up and recognized her from town. Maybe he'd been watching her before. Police re-interview witnesses from 2009, now armed with Trent's name and photograph. 3 people remember seeing a county maintenance truck near the overlook that evening, a green pickup with Parks Department logos, exactly the vehicle Trent drove. Sarah Martinez, who hiked the trail frequently in 2009, provides the most detailed account. I remember that truck because it was still there after 7:00 p.m., which seemed late for maintenance work. The driver was sitting inside, just watching the parking area. As news of Trent's identification spreads through Cedar Bluff, residents react with shock and horror. This quiet man had been hiding in plain sight for 13 years. He'd shopped at the same grocery store as Ashley's family. He'd attended the same community events. He'd even participated in search efforts during the first weeks after Ashley's disappearance. I remember him from the early searches. Longtime resident Patricia Collins tells reporters. He volunteered to help look for Ashley. Can you imagine? He was out there pretending to search for a girl he'd murdered. Trent's journal contains dozens of entries about women in Cedar Bluff, including detailed observations about their routines, vehicles, and habits. Ashley isn't the only woman he'd been watching. Police identify at least 7 others who unknowingly became subjects of his surveillance. One entry from September 2009 describes Ashley in detail. Pharmacy girl with the camera, takes pictures at the overlook most Sundays, always alone, always trusting. The word trusting appears circled in red ink. March 18, 2024. Michael James Trent is arrested at his home at 6. 4 unmarked police cars surround his modest house on Elm Street as Agent Chen and Detective Williams approach the front door. Trent answers in pajamas and slippers, showing no surprise at seeing law enforcement officers. Michael Trent, you're under arrest for the kidnapping and murder of Ashley Marie Baker, Agent Chen announces. Trent offers no resistance. He simply nods and extends his hands for handcuffs. As neighbors gather on sidewalks to watch, the man who terrorized their community for over a decade is led away in the back of a police cruiser. Cedar Bluff erupts in a mixture of relief and rage. Social media explodes with residents sharing their memories of encounters with Trent and their shock at learning their quiet neighbor was a killer. He came to Ashley's candlelight vigil, Emma posts on Facebook. He stood right behind our family, pretending to mourn the girl he murdered. I can't process the evil it takes to do that. At the police station, Trent initially maintains his innocence. For 6 hours, he denies any involvement in Ashley's disappearance. But when confronted with DNA evidence and his own journal entries, his composure finally cracks. I didn't mean for it to happen, he tells investigators. I just wanted to talk to her. She was always so friendly at the pharmacy and always smiled when she saw me. I thought maybe. He describes following Ashley from Murphy's gas station to the overlook, parking his truck on the utility access road where it wouldn't be visible from the main parking area. He claims he approached her while she was setting up her camera, trying to start a conversation. She got scared when she saw me, started backing away, telling me to leave her alone. I just wanted her to listen, to understand that I wasn't going to hurt her. According to Trent's confession, Ashley tried to run back to her car. In his attempt to stop her, he grabbed her arm. She fell, hitting her head on a rock. He claims she died instantly from the impact. I panicked. I didn't know what to do. So, I buried her. Trent leads investigators to a remote section of county land, 3 miles from Cedar Bluff Trail. Using ground-penetrating radar, searchers locate remains buried beneath 4 feet of Iowa soil. On March 25, 2024, Ashley Marie Baker finally comes home. The courtroom fills to capacity on September 15, 2024, as Michael Trent's trial begins. Carla and Emma Baker sit in the front row, holding hands as prosecutors present evidence that took 13 years to compile. DNA experts explain how genealogical databases cracked the case. Digital forensic specialists describe enhancing Ashley's final photograph to identify Trent. Park rangers testify about his access to remote burial sites through his county job. The most powerful testimony comes from Ashley's family and friends, who describe the vibrant young woman whose life was stolen in her prime. Ashley would be 39 now, Carla tells the jury through tears. She would have been married and probably had children. She'd have opened her own photography studio and traveled the world with her camera. Michael Trent didn't just kill my daughter. He killed all the lives she would have touched, all the beauty she would have created. Trent's defense attempts to argue that Ashley's death was accidental, that he never intended to harm her, but prosecutors paint a clear picture of premeditation. The journal entries, the pattern of stalking behavior, and the careful disposal of evidence. On October 11, 2024, exactly 15 years after Ashley vanished, the jury delivers their verdict, guilty on all counts of kidnapping and first-degree murder. Judge Patricia Morrison sentences Trent to life in prison without possibility of parole. "You took a beautiful light from this world," Judge Morrison tells Trent. "You robbed a family of their daughter, a community of their friend, and countless future souls of Ashley's gifts. The only mercy you'll receive is that you'll live to face the consequences of your actions every day for the rest of your life." As Trent is led away in shackles, Cedar Bluff begins to heal from wounds that have festered for 15 years. 2 months after Trent's sentencing, Cedar Bluff dedicates a memorial bench at the overlook where Ashley disappeared. The bench faces west, toward the sunsets Ashley loved to photograph. A bronze plaque reads, "Ashley Marie Baker. Let light find you here." The bench becomes a gathering place for reflection and remembrance. Photographers leave flowers. Hikers pause for quiet moments. Families bring children to learn about the young woman who made their community a more beautiful place. Emma continues her Searching for Sunshine blog, now focused on helping other families navigate missing person cases. The blog has helped connect dozens of families with resources, investigators, and most importantly, Ashley's case reminds us that persistence matters, Emma writes in her final post about the trial. 13 years felt like forever, but we never stopped believing that truth would surface. For every family still waiting for answers, keep fighting, keep hoping, keep demanding justice. Carla finally stops writing daily letters to Ashley. Instead, she volunteers with the Iowa Cold Case Task Force, using her experience to support other families beginning their own journeys through uncertainty. Detective Williams retires in December 2024, citing Ashley's case as the most meaningful of her career. "Some cases stay with you forever," she says. "Ashley deserved justice, and I'm grateful we finally delivered it." The impact extends beyond Cedar Bluff. Ashley's case becomes a textbook example of how advancing technology can solve seemingly impossible cold cases. Police departments across the country request guidance on implementing similar forensic genealogy programs. Michael Trent will spend the rest of his life in an Iowa state prison, finally facing consequences for the evil he thought he'd hidden forever. Prison records show he receives no visitors, no letters, and no contact with the outside world. He exists in the isolation he created for himself. But Ashley Baker's legacy lives in every photograph displayed at Cedar Bluff Library, every sunrise captured by local photographers inspired by her work, and every act of kindness performed in her memory. Her final photograph, the one that helped solve her own murder, now hangs framed in the police station, a reminder that evidence never truly disappears. Sometimes it just waits for the right moment, the right technology, or the right person to see what others missed. On quiet autumn evenings, at Cedar Bluff Trail, visitors still come to watch sunsets from the overlook. They bring cameras, hoping to capture the perfect light Ashley spent her life chasing, and sometimes, if conditions are just right, the light breaks through storm clouds in ways that seem almost deliberate, almost like a message from a young woman who finally found peace. Ashley Marie Baker was 24 when she disappeared. She was 39 when justice finally arrived. In between those years lies a story of family love, community strength, and the unshakable belief that truth, no matter how deeply buried, will eventually surface. For every family still searching, still hoping, still fighting for answers, Ashley's story proves that cold cases aren't closed cases. They're just waiting for their moment in the light. And sometimes, that moment comes exactly when it's needed most. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the Ashley Baker case, please subscribe to our channel and share this video with others who appreciate true crime stories that honor both victims and the families who never stop fighting for justice. Your support helps us continue bringing attention to cases that deserve to be remembered, investigated, and solved. For more information about missing persons resources or to support families like the Bakers, visit the National Missing and Unidentified Persons System at namis.gov. Every share, every conversation, every moment of awareness could be the key to bringing someone home.